Hey, what's going on? You here with Emil, and this is just a real quick statement I'm making to whoever's watching that I intend to do some video analysis on what's going on in the political climate, and the reason why is because when we talk about our political stances, that means nothing when we talk about dictatorships and kingships. And I've kind of set back, observed, went to a few board meetings, virtual and in person. I visited in the past year. I visited 35 out of the 48 main states. I plan on visiting all 48. Um, and it's all the states excluding Hawaii and Alaska. I plan on doing that by the end of the year. I kind of slowed down because there's more pressing issues that are happening as opposed to me trying to build residual income. It's more or less about me making sure that the world that we do have is fit enough for our kids. And the reason why I mention this because what we don't really follow and understand, a lot of us, because we're so stuck in our own lives, on that rat race, trying to make that money. And it's all right, it's okay, but it's not. And the reason why I say it's not okay is because if you ignore what was happening to your neighbor, just like the Nazis, eventually they're going to come for you. And because of this, I feel that when injustice happens, um, I wouldn't say on all levels or any level because injustice happens, periods. But when it is flagrant and belligerent, that's when we got to do something. When it's so in your face in things like the Revelations and in the Bible, when we look at that and we like, dang, seven kingdoms, seven heads, and I'm not gonna get into the political points. I'm just gonna get into the worldly views, simply because this is not Bible study. At the same time, a lot of things that are happening right now, if you are a very religious person, I'm not mad at you for thinking that the world's going to end in 2035 or whatever. Because when we talk about people who have technology that Terminator, Matrix, all those mom, that their little sci-fi AI, kind of robots that monitor you. The thing is, our cell phones monitor us. If you have a ring camera that monitors you, your security cameras technically monitor you, and then just really what I'm on right now is monitoring me, the laptop. So anything that's connected to Wi-Fi, period, somehow can be monitored. And when we deal with individuals who have literally unlimited amount of money, and now they're stealing our food, our food. And the reason why I say our food is because, like, we all pay taxes, and even if you pay late, even if you don't pay all, even if you whatever, you're gonna pay. They're going to come for you. You're going to get arrested. They're going to freeze your money up, and they're going to basically essentially threaten your freedom and, threaten your livelihood by freezing up this and that, make your life a lot more difficult if you don't, even if you don't owe them money, and depending on, you might still have issues with your bank based on non-compliance when it comes to the federal government, versus if you do that to said individuals not part of the government, they don't have the right to freeze your money, and they don't have the right to monitor it like that or take it. And right now, individuals outside of the government have our social security information, and they're attempting to get the information from healthcare, as far as the VA is concerned. They're looking to really subsidize our lives. And when we talk about Social Security numbers and our federal treasury funds that are being being given, distributed to the less fortunate, or people who need it to survive, I don't mind paying my part if I know that I'm paying for little Johnny's school. Now, what they're planning on doing is, like, when we think about the Department of Education, I'm not going to get on the Department of Education. I will wait to talk about the Department of Education. Let's not talk about the Department of Education. Only thing I'm going to say about the Department of Education, it makes no sense to eliminate it just because it's not all that great. There's a lot of things that's not great. Your parents first probably wasn't great, but you're going to get rid of them? You're going to get rid of your parents just because they're not great? Bad parenting. Your mama slapped you one time. You get rid of her, and now you're a ward of the state. Like, just throwing out the baby with the bathwater makes no sense. And when we talk about the Department of Education, I plan on doing a lot more research on it, and I have already been researching education as far as the best systems. New York, Massachusetts seems to be some of the states that has the quote unquote highest standard of the nation, and I was in the process of researching and coming up with the online program as far as math from kindergarten all the way to college. But when our freedom is in such jeopardy, projects got to be held, because one thing about that project I was doing, it relied on nonprofit 503c activities. So it was like a nonprofit proposal, and the reason why I was coming up and doing research was because I am attempting to come up with the best uh, general practices as far as whoever is going to be working with me, and I was planning on implementing, I think it's like long neck. Some in New York, one of their districts that's real supposed to be great. But it's like a few of the districts that I was like researching, trying to figure out this and that. And when we talk about the Department of Education, it heats me up and it keeps me up at night. Partly because I come from educational background as far as teaching for over 10 plus years, and it's sickening to me that we don't value our kids. I don't mind paying for your kid. You know what I mean? And I don't mind paying for a mother who might be abusing the system. And it's not, that's minute compared to the fact that we have a DOD, just really our our Department of Defense budget is so much bigger than anything else. But then we're going for stuff that just really helps out the small person who's just trying to go to school and try to make a better life for himself. But the people who are making these choices and trying to force out the governmental agency officials that are long careered is doing this because of tyranny. Because if I knock out the fundamental foundational structure of the building, and this is something that Plato says, is Plato says if you have a table, the table is stronger with all four bases. When you knock out one, you lean it and you no longer have a valuable table. And the reason I mention this is because by us knocking out some of these systems, FAA. Fly Frontier, I'm sorry, I love you, but I can't. I'm not even gonna go with my Go Wild pass this year. You know what I mean? Like, why would I pay my little $600 for the 15 when I'm worried about planes flying out the damn air? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of sense is that? Like this is unforeseen. Like, oh my gosh, like what kind of stupid idiot fires people who have that much like life, like seriously, like you is critical. That is a transportation issue, and so far we've had about 3 incidents that people have lost their lives on a mega scale, which to my understanding, and I will be doing more research trying to figure out, because I have looked at the FAA website to determine how many accidents were when Biden was in. And when I looked at the information, what I seen was there were incidents, but they never said it was a massive amount of death. It was not a collision in air that they talked about as like ending 40 plus lives. You know what I'm saying? Like in incidents, it'll say a few people died, 10 people died, but it was never a commercial plane going into the Capitol. Like, what? The Capitol? Like, bro, like it's certain places that you go to that you feel like, hey, if I'm going here, I'm good, baby. I give you an example. uh I was watching a guy that said he got jacked because the people were following him. Now, this is something that I think that could have saved his life. How come he didn't just go to the police station? You know what I mean? Like all he had to do was go to the police station. And the guy, he lived, but his partner died because of his actions. And yeah, he had a gun, but think about people with guns. We all have guns. You know what I'm saying? We all hold something. I'm not gonna go into that, but it's the way you do it, the way you hold it, and the fact of the matter is, even if you got something big, someone else gonna pop you. So it's like if I shoot him, I'm automatically gonna get popped up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people think that I have a gun, I'm good. No, numbers mean something. And then sometimes, even if you have numbers, if that person who get the shot off real quick and just indiscriminately shooting with something automatic, we street sweeping. And all this is important because when we talk about our our future, we need to protect ourselves. And with this happening, the laws not being respected, that means that we are more likely to have to defend ourselves because we think that we can't be like Gaza. We think we can't be a displaced country. We think that, hey, they're over there. We're out here causing static with our neighbors, Canada and Mexico. I don't want to step foot in Mexico. I put it like all I'm saying is, if I'm on a cruise, I'm not stepping foot on Mexico until I feel that there's a little bit more respect happening from the nation and our neighbors, because kidnapping is something that can happen, and I feel like when you disrespect your brother, after a while, your brother is not gonna be your brother like that no more, man. Like he and the individuals there, um, the belief that they're criminals. Well, we have more Russian criminals, in my opinion, running free and running rampant. We have people from South Africa running stuff that are criminals. We have a felon who's the president of the in America. It's an embarrassment to be an American right now, bro. Like I'm telling you, like it makes no sense for anybody who has that kind of power to, like, talking about the two presidents, co-presidents, Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Both of them are evil and maniacal, and they do not care about the American people. Now, the thing is, we're we're in a position where we're scared and we don't know what's happening. Those farmers who voted for Trump, no offense, but I hope everything that's happening to those less fortunate happens to you too. And the only reason I say this because I didn't want to vote for Kamala Harris, and I'm not gonna get into the reasons why I didn't want to vote for her. I mean, I'll get back to that later. I voted for her not because I wanted to, but I voted her because I'm not gonna vote for a felon. A felon. Like, so it's kind of like, why in the world would you invite a vampire to your house? You don't invite the vampire in. Like, you know the whole, if vampires can't come in the house unless you invite them, but once you invite them, you can't uninvite them. That's exactly what just happened. We invited a vampire, and all of us didn't agree. We're a family. The USA is a family. It's 50 parts of the family, and for whatever reason, the red decided the blue didn't know what they were talking about, and they were fixated on the progressive ways of what some of the DEI initiatives and all this stuff about being fair. And it's kind of hard for people who did not understand that they were DEI made it happen. Like the farmers technically was DEI. White women are DEI. They get more benefits than anybody else. White women are a minority because they're a woman, which to me makes no sense because if you do the math, there's more women than men. But hey, I digress. I get it. They are a minority in the workspace because it is an option. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because men, if you a man and you ain't working, ain't that many women gonna be willing to take care of you. But if you a woman, you ain't working, if you got the women qualities, a man gonna take care of you with a smile. You know what I'm saying? But the DEI is affecting all of us. And the ones who voted against their interests, I don't feel sorry for you. I hope that you take this on for the next 30 years if we all can see that, and you now will officially make the right decision by not going against people who do not share any kind of morals that align with the average American. And it disheartens me that um we are so individually, or just only our family that matters, and our neighbors don't at all. It sickens me because it's like, if we don't look out for the other people who are quote unquote less fortunate, what do you think is going to happen after a while? This man is a bully. And anybody who's used to bullies know the only way you stop a bully from bullying is you elbow him in their nose and hit him in the eye. You know what I'm saying? You gotta beat the brakes off of him. If you don't beat the brakes, and what he did was he went into our house, and I'm not even talking about Trump. I'm talking about the wolf that came in our house, and what he's doing. If you get our social security information, if you get our information that does not belong to you from the VA, if you get the information that does not belong to you from where the nonprofits are getting their money, if you get access to be able to dismantle the Department of Education, if you have the ability to deal with and mess with everything outside the DOD, because he's not gonna mess with the DOD. Musk's not gonna mess with the DOD because he get paid from there. He's a contractor. He's already gotten like 400 something extra $1 million for Tesla. He's gotten a few other $1 million for SpaceX, and then he's gotten like equivalent to $1 billion in the past couple weeks. And you're taking out USA. So you're not you don't care about the the woman who acquired AIDS, and she can spread this AIDS to more people. And the reason why I'm saying this lady is because it was a lady that they talked about, that she died from not getting her AIDS medication from USAID. And it breaks my heart, where it's like health things that can be taken care of health wise, that Canada and all these other, like a bunch of countries in Europe, that have these health plans for their citizens to make sure that they live full lives, can live them. But instead, we're so focused on only our family. And then men, I just feel like men, we're so disconnected with ourselves that we only care about our family. We don't even care about ourselves. And it's to the point where it's like, I'm talking about direct family. I'm talking about the average man. If you're not our wife, and if you're not our kids, we barely care about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, we care about our direct family, but men, we just care about our family. And it sickens me because that's how we're going to get robbed. Individuals die. Groups, if we all mass together, unions, that's the reason why I love them union states. You know what I mean? Because if you in a union, that means that if you get rid of me, I got some people to call, and you're a big conglomerate or whatever. Normally people work for big conglomerates. People work for big companies. Average person don't work for a small company. So if you're going against a district, or the federal government, or whatever, the FAA, whatever, you're going against this big conglomerate, and you're just one person. Go on now. But if you part working a part of the Teamsters, or just the longshoremen, hey man, yeah man, I got reading for this. Hey, don't worry about it. Come on to the office. We're gonna get this paperwork for you. We'll take care of you. All right, I'm on my way. All I'm saying is, unions, when we work as groups, when it's kind of like they say in the church, when three or more men come together, three or more people come together, things can happen. And that's when real fellowship happens. And I'm a firm believer of that, but I'm also a person who's nomadic at heart. So I'm always broken. And the reason why I say that is because it's hard to get people active if no one really follows you, if no one really believes in you. Like, the people in my life, they believe in me as far as me taking care of myself, but they are so fixated on their family, and I mean the direct family, that you know the things I'm mad about, they don't think about until it affects them. And they are so, well, you got to just go ahead and uproot the whole garden sometimes. Di don't even help me. And it's like, yeah, granted, as a black person, most likely Di's not gonna help us like that. But like, and when it come down to it, we're not supposed to complain about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Texas, man. Come on now. Racism, shoot, I know it's there. Okay, Jasper, Texas, baby. It is what it is. I ain't gonna complain about it. I'm just gonna keep working. I'm gonna keep doing what I gotta do. Y'all know you're gonna write me up for this. That's cool. Hey, my mom told me when she alive, bless her heart, Ola J. Milk, when she was alive, she got on my older brother about chewing gum in the classroom. And essentially, he was like, I'm chewing gum because such and such chewing gum. And she had my mother asked him, so what color is the such and such? And she was like, he's Spanish. She always on the black kids, but she never get on the Spanish kids. My mother told that boy, look, what you didn't, so you knew the rules, right? So you're black and you were chewing gum, and you got in trouble, but you noticed the rules was kind of different, and you see the Spanish white kids are chewing gum, they ain't get in trouble. Then why are we chewing gum? And the reason why I say this is because it's like I've kept that thought in my mentality, and it's kept me free. And what I mean by that is when I see my white counterparts and I've hung out with, um, one Steve, South African kid from, like when I was in Paint Branch, JoJo, Samantha, not gonna get into the semantics with our relationship. That is what it is. But long story short, that day that we went to Wheaton Mall, and this happened like 2001. Like, yeah, it was like senior skip week. I'm not gonna lie, we all did some foul stuff. So the people, I'm not gonna get into what we did. Just say that we went to the mall and we could have. Some of us got caught up with some dumb stuff. And my man JoJo told me I knew better than to steal something because I knew they were looking at me. And I was like, man, what you mean? He was like, as black as I am? Because he was African. All my homeboys at that time were African. They were from Ghana, South Africa, or somewhere around. And that's just who I hung out with. Yomi was the other person who I was hanging out with, I believe, that day. And they caught Steve and they called Yomi, and I didn't get caught because I went to the dressing room. Y'all not gonna get me like that. And what I'm saying is being smart and knowing who you are and what's going on means something. Cause them idiots doing it in front of the camera. What kind of sense is that? And it was like, as a kid, in fact, hold on. This happened in 98, 99 because I was a freshman. Yeah, I was a freshman. I was a freshman in high school. So this happened like 98, 99, something like that. You know what I'm saying? And this was like skip day and stuff like that. But that taught me a valuable lesson on the way that America looks at people. The darker you are, the better you have to be because they're looking and waiting for you to mess up. And but the thing is, when we apply for these DEI programs, you know, black men don't get it. Black women get it. And the reason why black women get it, in my opinion, is for multiple reasons, which I will go back into later. Black women can get it more so than black men. White women can get it quicker than black women can get it because technically speaking, if I'm the CEO, I can hire my wife, and that's considered a DEI hire. I can hire my any female family period. And instead of them coming to me and asking me for money, I just put them in a job. And in theory, it does not sound horrible, but the qualifications of the person and the fact you're completely overlooking people and you know that the person's not really qualified off comparison, that right there, in my opinion, is a violation. But at the same time, you can't get mad at that person if they're running that company. You can't get mad, but you can get mad at the government. You can get mad. And one of the biggest things I have to say is when you look at the government offices, and I'm about to start doing some research with y'all, and I plan on evaluating other people's statements when it comes to their opinions and fears of what's happening in this nation. That's what I plan on diving into. And I really appreciate whoever's watching. Go ahead and like, follow, subscribe. I plan on coming up with more talks and more board meetings. I plan on evaluating. I plan on interviewing more people. Um, and I plan on trying to do whatever I can do. If anybody who knows me know I went to LA and try to help out with the little fires going on, at least trying to get this right here because what people see might not be what's going on. And then right now what's going on, all hands on deck. So you hear what Emil, and I look forward to continue on more of these debates and conversations because we need to fight while we can still fight. Because we don't fight in the first few quarters, in the first few rounds, shoot, In the middle, we're done. All right. Look forward to talking back to you.